Hello, lovelies. This is Natalie from Power Moon Tarot. Welcome to your reading. Happy New Year, everybody. I know we are like halfway into the month already, so Happy New Year is kind of funny at this point. It feels like we'll be in February before we know it. And just want to send a shout out to all the Capricorns having birthdays out there. Many blessings to you. We've got Aquarius birthdays coming up soon. And we're going to go ahead and get into it today. Today is called Where Have You Been Playing It Too Small? We're going to look at what area or areas, there could be multiple areas in your life where you have been playing it too small. And because we are in a new year, it's time to grow and it's time to glow. So let's go ahead and look at the card that just fell out of my hand is the Fox, okay? Some foxy people listening to the reading today. Let's go ahead and bring in the energy, okay? And we have pile number 1, which is the blue tea light, pile number 2, which is the black tea light, and pile number 3, which is the red tea light. So take a deep breath. Anchor into the energy. Think about what you're feeling today. Are you feeling blue? Are you feeling black? Are you feeling red? Okay? What are you feeling today? I love pick a card readings because you get to be intuitive. I get to be intuitive. We all get to be intuitive together. So let's go ahead and get into the readings. Just a quick announcement for those of you that are curious. I am offering natal chart readings, and there'll be a link in my description box below to my astrology website, Lilith Rising Astrology, where you can book a reading. And I'll open up slots every month. So I've opened up some slots for the month of January that have gotten filled, but I still have a couple open if you want to get in there. And then in early February, I'll go ahead and open up the slots for February, okay? So let's go ahead and get into it. For my pile number 1s, okay. Deep breath, relax. Let's do it. Pile number 1, welcome to your reading. You chose the blue tea light, and today's reading is called Where Have You Been Playing It Too Small? Okay, pile number 1, we are going to look at what area or areas of your life you may have been playing too small in for whatever reason. Sometimes we get stuck in our own limitations or stuck in the way that we're viewing ourselves that isn't helpful, okay? And sometimes we just have to break up the energy. It reminds me of like when you're working out and you're using one of those rollers where you can roll your back on it or roll your legs out on it, and you have to kind of like break up the fascia and break up, usually after a really heavy workout, people are pretty stiff or their muscles hurt, right? And nothing feels better than kind of working out those pains, okay? Because when we are holding ourselves back, we start to feel really constricted, and we wonder if our life is meaning anything at the end of the day. And who knows if our lives mean anything or not. I mean, I think they have to, and they should, and they do, but each day is a new day. All right, pile number 1. So let's go ahead, and I don't know why I just gave you guys that speech, but let's go ahead and get into your reading. First, the Queen of Wands reversed is on the bottom of the deck. So really holding yourselves back, pile number 1, from fully putting yourself out there and fully embodying the light that is you, okay? And it could be because you feel like your firepower hasn't been as strong, or your intuition has been off, so you haven't been able to act like you normally would, okay? I just saw that on the bottom of the deck when I turned the deck over as I was shuffling. But let's go ahead and get a few, that's more than a few. Let's get a few cards out here for my pile number 1s. Whoop, whoop, okay? Here's the 8 of Wands. And the 8 of Wands on the bottom of the deck indicates a person who is definitely not holding themselves back, who is certainly dialed into their firepower and is not afraid to say what it is that they want. The 8 of Wands in the tarot represents Mercury in Sagittarius, And yes, Mercury is in detriment in Sagittarius, but it's still a very powerful energy, okay? And it really has this ability with the Eight of Wands to really zero in and focus in on what it wants to say and do to push forward, okay? So pile number one, I don't think you've always been like playing it too small in life. In fact, I think you've had periods in your life where you've been just, you know, buzzing right along, zinging right along on the path of life, and you weren't really letting a whole lot of things get into your way, okay? But lately, I feel like maybe you haven't been maybe as happy, or things haven't been as joyful, or things just have been moving at a slower pace, and that may be why you're kind of feeling a little bit blocked, okay? Although I think if other people were to look at your life, pile number one, I don't think they would look at you and go, oh, pile number one is blocked, right? Because I think you are a very like powerful person who wants to get out there and do things in life, all right? But you just may have dialed it back a little bit from your usual, you know, panther-like self, pile number one, okay? But let's go ahead. I don't know why I just got that animal, but let's go ahead. I'm going to look at your oracle cards first, and then we'll look at the tarot. We have friendship here, okay? And we have soulmate. Wow. So talk about really putting yourself out there in the world. And the pink color on this friendship card, along with the pink color on the soulmate card, tells me, I mean, and friends can certainly be soulmates too. But I mean, in order to kind of, we have to put ourselves out there in the world in order to find what we're looking for, you know? And there are some parts of our life that may indeed kind of fall into our laps. And I'm sure you guys are aware of those parts of your lives. I mean, you can tell if you look at somebody's astrology chart too, what are the easier energies, what tends to fall easily into their lap versus what are the more challenging topics, okay, pile number one in their life. And so I think for you, it's really putting yourself out there to find those connections that are meaningful for you, not as they would be for anyone else, not defined by anybody else's standards, not, you know, doesn't have to be according to societal expectations, but just towards what works for you in your life. Let's see here. We have separation, okay? Sadness, thinking about you, yearning, and unsure of the future. Okay, so we're gonna get some more information here, but I already feel pile number one, some of you have a love situation going on where you may have been going back and forth, like, you know, I'm not with this person anymore, or it seems like things have ended, but I kind of really want to see if something is still there. Okay, or I feel some of you here could actually like a friend, a person that you're just having a friendship with, but you actually like them more than that, but you're a little bit unsure of how to approach something, right? Or you're maybe holding back from approaching, but let's go ahead and see. And I feel like for most of you, holding back from approaching with the Eight of Wands on the bottom of the deck may not have been like, you know, the thing that you were concerned about in the past. But when you have a really, you might have just gone for it, right, in the past. But when you have a really good friendship with someone, sometimes it may be a little bit like, I don't know, I don't really know if I want to take that to the next level. I don't want to ruin the friendship. I don't really want to, you know, if we could be friends, I don't really want to, like, you know, mess that up. So kind of like hanging back a little bit. But the key phrase that I'm really drawn to on this separation card is being unsure of the future, okay? Because Mercury in Sagittarius, Eight of Wands, is like, I'm just going to tell you straight up, bluntly, honestly, how I'm feeling and what my truth is and what the deal is, okay? But I do see kind of like this tendency right now, pile number one, where you may hang back and think about it a little bit and think about what you're saying and doing before you do it. But let's see here. We have this is from The Art of War. And it says, a soldier's spirit is keenest in the morning. By noonday, it has begun to flag. And in the evening, his mind is bent only on returning to camp. This is the art of studying moods, right? So you guys may be studying the mood of someone around you and wondering, is it the right time to talk to them? Is it the right time to approach, right? I don't know, being a little bit unsure, missing someone, pile number one. And you know, sometimes in life, like if we don't just kind of say where we're at and come out with it already, we hold ourselves back from knowing the truth, and we hold ourselves back from being able to move on. Like, you know, it's interesting. And I think people in other cultures tend to do things differently. Like some cultures are more just like, you know, I'm going to put my feelings out there and be proud of myself for doing it. And if the person rejects me, then I guess I just have to move on, and that's the truth. But if I don't actually put my feelings out there and let it be known, then I'll never get anywhere, right? So I think that is interesting. And you guys may be studying someone's mood to try to figure out when is the best time to talk to them, or when is the best time to reveal feelings, okay? And it says, listen, assess the mood, then talk when the time is right. Okay, so there's a big difference between just blurting things out in the moment, regardless of what the other person is feeling or doing, versus holding back and not saying anything because you're afraid of saying the wrong thing. Okay, and you guys have the blue tea light, which is of course the throat chakra. So talking a lot about listening and speaking and knowing when the time is right to have a conversation. Okay, it says, if you have bad news to impart or a touchy situation to discuss, be aware of the mood of the person you are going to talk to. Okay, I kind of feel like you guys are hyper aware of the mood of the person that you're going to talk to. And sometimes the person that we want to talk to is always in a mood, and they never want to slow down and have a talk, and they never really want to like listen, and they never really, you know what I mean? Sometimes that happens too. And it's like, it just seems like there's never going to be a right time. But at some point, if you mean something to someone and they mean something to you, everyone's got to have a sit down and coming to Jesus session. And if someone isn't, you know, it's okay if somebody isn't ready to talk and needs a little bit of time, but you know, it's not okay to also give people the silent treatment. It's not okay and to behave in that way, right? And I feel some of you may have been with a person who has some very difficult communication issues, okay? And it says, with practice, you should be able to gauge whether someone will be resistant to your ideas and when they'll be open to your point of view and happy to find a resolution. Okay, so that's very interesting. It's 222 on my clock right now, pile number one, which, you know, to me, like two, whenever you add another piece into the equation, not only are you having to deal with your own, you know, mindset and thoughts, but you're also having to think about somebody else's. And you know, it's only right that they're thinking about yours too. And if that person isn't giving you any consideration at all, then I really question, you know, what's going on. And I'm sure you do too, pile number one. The point is if you can't have open, honest communication when the time is right, then what, you know, how can a person have a relationship, or how can someone deepen a relationship in that case? Okay. We have coins here. Money will be coming to you. Pile number one. Okay, so believing in the power of good juju coming your way here. We have feather. Someone you know is undependable and insincere. Okay, and this is coming out under the soulmate card. Okay, and I also feel like maybe sometimes, pile number one, you hang back because you maybe don't want to ask a friend for help or ask somebody to help you with something. But I think people would be more than willing to listen and to talk and to hear you out, okay? And you could also be selling yourself short when it comes to like having people around you that you feel you can talk to, and vice versa, okay? Friendship could also be as a helping you to make money in your life in some way too, okay? But I also feel some of you could have your job or your income could be dependent on your ability to relate to people and your ability to kind of talk to people and get on even level playing field. It's almost like with salesmen or sales women, or with any type of service where you really need to kind of understand the person, and you need to sometimes like we're trying to sell something or we're trying to do something, and whether we're able to do that and bring in income is dependent upon how good natured we are, how outgoing we are, how willing we're able to kind of tap our network and our friendships for help with that, and some of you may have a friend that can actually like benefit you as far as your work and your money, and being able to kind of draw on the goodwill of the friends around you. And I feel like you guys are a very giving, caring friend, pile number 1, and you're a true blue giving and caring friend, blue tea light, okay? And I feel like maybe some of you are hanging back a little bit from asking a friend like, hey, do you want to collaborate on something? Hey, do you want to, hey, would you be willing to sponsor this? Hey, would you want to do some type of thing together, right? And instead of maybe taking the initiative to ask, kind of hanging back and waiting for the right time, but you don't want it to be a missed opportunity either, okay? And some of you here may have someone in your life, a soulmate, a person that you loved that was, very undependable, not very reliable, not always sincere in the things that they said or did, okay? And you may have been afraid of talking to this person, because sometimes talking to a person, people will avoid like talking to people openly, honestly, and truthfully sometimes because they don't want to hear the answer. But that's also a form of kind of playing it small, and also like not calling someone out, and not like listening to someone else's truth when they tell it to you. And it doesn't mean that their truth is correct. It doesn't mean that it's right. But if somebody's trying to tell us, look, I'm over this, or this isn't what I want, or they're giving you signs of that, then, sometimes we go into avoidance mode because we don't really want to hear it. And I get it, pile number 1, I really do, because as human beings, we're kind of trained to want to avoid pain. But I also think like there are some things that need to be said here. And you guys may have been shying away from having a conversation with a particular individual in your life because you're not sure of what that conversation would mean or what it would do, okay? We have gong here, an exciting event, okay? I feel like some of you have a very cool, exciting event that you could be going to, or that you could be attending, but because you've been sad, and I get it, if you're sad and you're missing someone, and you don't really feel like going out, you don't really feel like putting yourself out there too much because you haven't been in the greatest space, I get it. But I also feel like don't miss out on an exciting event that could actually be very good for you, and possibly good for your money and good for your networking friendships, okay, by going. And sometimes we avoid going somewhere that would actually be really cool and really good for us because somebody that we used to have a crush on that rejected us, or somebody, whatever, somebody doesn't want us to go there because they're going to be there, or we're avoiding it because they're going to be there, right? And all of those things are like examples of kind of, you know, playing it small. Now, sometimes we don't want to go because we're not in a space to go. And I get that. I completely get that, especially if something is like very fresh. But if you're going to an event and you know that your ex is going to be there, or your ex-friend is going to be there, or somebody you like is going to be there, but you're not sure what to say to them and you don't know if it's the right time, so you're just going to avoid it, I feel like you're playing yourself a little bit too small there, pile number one, because I feel some of you could make some very important contacts and networking with this friendship, and money will come to you, okay? If you're supposed to be hosting an event or doing an event, but you don't want to because so-and-so, you know, isn't talking to you or isn't gonna be there, like whatever, you know, I feel you can still do your thing, pile number one. We have here 32, card number 32, and Hearth. All right, Hearth and Home. This is Vesta, which is an asteroid in astrology, okay? And it's about feeling safe and comfortable and lit up from the inside, and that sense of, you know, fire and fuel, but it's a comfortable fire. It's a cozy fire. It's not a destroy everything and, you know, burn everything down type of fire. It's a very cozy, comforting, you know, feeling. But I also feel like when you have, and it does remind people of home, right? And I know it's wintertime and it's hard to get outside all the time and things like that. But sometimes we stay back and we hold back and we stay at home because it's like, I'm not in the mood to go out. I don't really want to go out. I'm not really like feeling it. I'm actually like really missing this person. And I kind of just feel like staying back. I feel like just staying cozy in my pajamas and staying home. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. I feel pile number one, like, you know, I mean, sometimes in life we just need to take a time out. But I also feel with the Eight of Wands and friendship and money and all this stuff that, you know, also if somebody flakes out on you for plans, like a friend flakes out on you or a lover or whoever flakes out on plans, I think you should still go to the event, pile number one, because I know it's not as fun when you're not like going with someone, or maybe it's a little bit more intimidating, but I also feel like, you know, if you say, I'm just going to stay right where I am because I feel safe here, and I'm not going to make endeavor to like really put myself out there or do much, then I feel like you're wasting the opportunity, pile number one, to really make some positive connections that could also benefit your career. Okay. And I'm not trying to put pressure on you, pile number one. You're, oh, Natalie, you're pressuring me. You're pressuring me. I'm not trying to put pressure on you. You know, and sometimes we think, oh, I have to wait until this person is very calm. I mean, it certainly helps to wait for someone to be like perfectly calm and centered and grounded and at home in their surroundings before you push a topic on them or before you talk to them about a topic. But you could wait forever for that other person to get comfortable while you just kind of sit there in misery waiting. And that is not a quality in my book. You know, as human beings, we really have to assess ourselves sometimes, pile number one, and go, am I being too pushy or am I not being pushy enough? Okay. And this reading is, and maybe you guys do that a lot. Like, I don't want to be pushy. You know, I want people to feel comfortable around me. I want, you know, people to feel that they're heard. And I feel a lot of people see you as a great friend, pile number one, that knows how to really listen, is very intuitive about when the right time is to talk and to chat and things like that. Okay. But there's also times when we tell ourselves, oh, I don't know if it's the right time. I don't know. And we just keep kicking the can down the road. Okay. So, how are you falling on that spectrum is what I would say. And are you holding yourself back from getting out there and making connections and networking and things like that because things feel more cozy just staying where you're at? Okay, sometimes we have to push ourselves a little bit out of our comfort zone. And we have here, oh, you guys got 2 of these cards. I only did 1 for each pile, but you guys got 2. Okay, and wow. Pile number 1. We have splitting apart and we have peace, okay? So that's what we've been talking about with splitting apart and separation and finding peace, okay? And look at this beautiful blue on this peace card here. It matches your tea light. It's very, very pretty. And it talks about like twilight and being by the water at nighttime and looking up and seeing the stars in the sky and maybe staying up to watch the sunrise. Sometimes when we just sit and watch the sunrise over the water, we just get a feeling of well-being and a feeling that everything is going to be okay and a feeling that everything is a-okay just as it exists in the world right now, okay? And I'm seeing the letter A. I'm also seeing the letter S and B, okay? I'm seeing the number 7. Someone could have a birthday in July or on the 7th of the month, or maybe your birthday adds up to a 7, like the 16th. Okay, I'm also seeing the word M and Y. I'm seeing a 4 too, M4 or the number 4. Okay, but I feel like it's like my peace and my harmony. Okay, and equipoise, a sense of well-being, and maybe you guys holding yourselves back from experiencing a sense of peace and well-being about your life, even if things are not exactly the way that you want them to be, okay? And, we have splitting apart. Like sometimes we really want to avoid and look at that feather. There's the feather right there that's in this picture that is saying someone is undependable and insincere. And that feather is showing up on this splitting apart card, okay? So to me, that's just a sign that in nature, things happen. The atom splits, things, everything happens. Things multiply, cells divide, things split. And that's how life is, pile number 1. And finding peace in the transition, I feel like is also important too. Okay. And this splitting apart is talking about impermanence, the impermanence in life, collapse, deterioration, separation. Again, 2 separation cards here. Letting go, surrender, eliminate the old, and death. Okay. And, one thing is pile number 1. Sometimes people don't give themselves enough credit for being able to handle transitions and being able to handle loss. And I think you can, pile number 1, I think you can handle transitions and loss and find a way towards a sense of well-being, okay? And it's interesting because all these rocks here look like a bunch of potatoes. Maybe you guys were eating potatoes or doing something with them, but, finding peace after letting go, okay? And if you've been holding yourself back from letting go and finding peace and just keeping yourself in a state of, sadness and a state of yearning, in a state of heightened, You know, like when our nervous system is kind of shot because we're in like a hyper vigilant mode, wondering about something and being unsure and all of that. And I get it. Like, you know, life just isn't as easy as just going, hey, yeah, fuck it, I'm done, and throwing in the towel and walking away. It's not that easy, but I also just feel like, you know, realize that you guys are able to let go of the old and move into a sense of peace and harmony, but not peace in the sense that you have to have perfect balance and perfect everything, perfect before you go and do anything else, before you have a conversation, before you go out and do anything else, right? I mean, it's good to return to a sense of peace and home and within, and tend to the fire within, Vesta, okay? And maybe some of you need to do that first. You need to tend to the fire within and listen for the right moment, have that conversation. If it doesn't go, then, you know, walk away and find peace with letting go, pile number 1, okay? It's when we hold ourselves in a state of purgatory forever that we start holding ourselves back and playing small. We have Sagittarius here and IC, okay? And I just talked about Mercury and Sagittarius with the 8 of Wands at the beginning of your reading. And yeah, I think you see, I think philosophically and when you're really thinking about like what you could create in your life and what you could do and what you could have and all the things that you could do, travel, events, going places, meeting people. Like Sagittarius is also ruled by Jupiter, which talks about expansion, okay? And not playing it so safe that we're putting ourselves to sleep and we're falling asleep in our Cheerios, you know? It's like, I see I need to light a fire under my ass and get it moving at some point here, okay? Pile number 1. Let's see what else we have. We have the 5 of Pentacles. Yeah, the 5 of Pentacles and the 5 of Wands. Ooh, my pile number 1s. Oh, and there's that Queen of Wands reverse that I saw at the beginning of your reading. Okay, and just feeling like because there's been a lot going on around you that maybe your firepower's been diminished or that you've been off about something. Okay, and so the Queen of Wands represents the watery part of fire, and when it's reversed, we have the fire on top of the water. Okay, and where, you know, possibly our actions or our anger or our non-actions are hiding our true feelings underneath it, okay? And it can be where we've let our passions distract us to the point where we've lost how we truly feel about a situation, or we feel pressured to act even though we don't feel that we can. Okay, pile number 1. So, you know, with the Queen of Wands reversed, I do think with the 5 of Pentacles and the 5 of Wands, also confidence, right? The Queen of Wands reversed is definitely a card of playing it small, because the Queen of Wands isn't like, you know, a very small type of a character. Also, Sagittarius isn't a small type of a character. These are all like fire ruled, Jupiter ruled type of things, and they're not meant to be small, and they're not meant to be like locked away in a cage, okay? And, you know, the Queen of Wands reverse could be where we've got so comfortable doing the same thing, but we're not really honoring how we feel, or we're just trying to cover up our sadness with busyness and then not doing the things that we really enjoy, okay? Pile number 1. Also a sense of feeling like not feeling confident about oneself. And I get it, pile number 1, like things have been shitty, okay, with the 5 of Pentacles and the 5 of Wands. But also with the 5 of Pentacles, there's sometimes you know, a tendency to blow our suffering out of proportion and to keep ourselves in a battle just because it feels comfortable to be in that place of, you know, longing or yearning or lacking, okay? And I'm not trying to be, you know, I'm giving you a little tough love here, pile number one, but the Five of Pentacles, I mean, it certainly can feel very, very dire, but it also is a place, it represents Mercury and Taurus. So it represents a place where we have stopped, we haven't been able to like think creatively about how we're going to get ourselves out of a situation. And all we can do is like get stuck and backtracking, and you know, we're not in harmony with ourselves, and the things that we're doing aren't really making sense, okay? And the Five of Wands can definitely be where we're just doing and doing and doing to avoid something that feels unhappy within, and we're just embracing ourselves in the struggle because we think like that's all that it's good for. I also feel like some of you could be keeping quiet and piping down because you're looking at what this person is going through, and you don't want to, like, you don't think it's the right time to talk to them, like I've been saying, okay? But I feel like just waiting and waiting is also not putting you in the best state, okay, pile number one? So no matter what, you got to live your life, okay? And like, you know, people, I feel like sometimes people get into ego contests, or they get into pissing contests around you, pile number one, and you really don't want to be a part of that. And I get it. You know, there's a lot of ego out there. There's a lot of people who think that they're right. And I get that you want to be a humble person and come from a place of like staying in your lane. But I also think, I also feel like you guys kind of need to get in the game and take control of something, because I feel like you're the added influence that's going to take this Five of Wands into the Six of Wands, okay? And you're really the key to like sorting a lot of things out here, pile number one. So the power is really within you. And maybe you feel like you can't act until another situation evolves, and sometimes that's how it is in life, but I also just feel like that isn't really how it is right now, okay, pile number one? So pile number one, those are the messages that I am getting for you, my loves, and my apologies if I was giving you some tough love there, pile number one. Be kind to yourself, my darlings, and let me know how you felt about the reading in the comments. Take care. Let's move on to pile number two. Okay, let's do it. Pile number two, welcome to your reading. You chose the black tea light, and today's reading is called Where Have You Been Playing It Too Small? Okay? And sometimes this can be quite the revelation. It's like, damn, I have been playing it too small there. And then you like regret it, and then you wish you would have done things differently. But pile number two, all we can do right now is take the knowledge and the information that we have right now and run with it and do what we will with it and do better going forward, right? For ourselves, so that we're truly giving ourselves the honor and dignity that we deserve, okay? So pile number two, let's go ahead. As they say in the movie Dirty Dancing, nobody puts baby in the corner, okay? My pile number twos, nobody puts baby in the corner. So let's go ahead and get into your reading, my friends, in pile number two. Spirit, can you show me where pile number two has been playing it too small? Where have they been playing it too small? If you're like, I'm too small for my, or I was gonna say I'm too small for my pants, or I'm too big for my pants. Maybe you guys are like, I haven't been playing it small, Natalie. I'm too big for my pants. But anyway, join the club, pile number two. You and me both, all right? Let's go ahead and see Where has pile number 2? You guys are funny in pile number 2. I can already tell. Okay. We have the Page of Wands reversed on the bottom of the deck. So a real sense of lacking fuel for the fire, lacking charisma, lacking in motivation. Okay, so the Page of Wands reversed on the bottom of the deck here. Also a feeling of being shy and not wanting to put someone's creative work out there either. And holding back, you know, especially in group situations, pile number 2, or holding back when you could actually be giving more and actually being a little afraid of putting your ideas out there or putting your projects or your creative projects out there when you clearly have like so much to contribute. Okay, pile number 2. So let's go ahead and get into it and find out what is the dealio here. We're going to look at the Oracle cards first, then Tarot. Shadow. Ooh. Oh, wow. Right? That's what happens is, like, sometimes we're like, I'm afraid I'm going to be successful. And then once I'm successful, I'll like, you know, fall down and crap my pants or something. You know what I'm saying? Pile number 2. This is like almost where you're kind of afraid of, like shining, pile number 2, or you're afraid of being seen with the Page of Wands reversed. Okay. And it's like, I'm afraid people are going to like see me as less than, or I'm afraid people will see the negative parts of me or the parts of me that are insecure. Okay. And, feel like insignificant at times. Okay. I also feel like some of you guys, like growing up, could have had like people around you that always accused you of insubordination, because that's the word I keep getting. And to subordinate yourself to someone is to kind of say, okay, you're my authority figure. I'll, you know, whatever you say goes. Okay. The more negative side of subordination is like, you know, I'm nothing, you're everything. And like making people feel small. Do you know what I'm saying, pile number 2? And some of you could have grown up, because I have the Page of Wands here, from a very early age, you could have grown up in a household where you were made to feel like, you know, what you're doing isn't right, or that you don't have talent, or that your like God-given or goddess-given gifts are not really appreciated or valued. Or the things that you want to do, or the life path that you want to take, or the career that you want to do, or the person that you love, whatever it is, like getting messages from authority figures that you're like not good enough. And I feel like for some of you, it could have really demotivated you from like wanting more or doing more for yourself. And it really could have made you feel, especially when you were younger, it could have made you feel very like low, or made you feel like it's not even worth it. Okay. If you've ever seen like a kid, this is like the saddest thing to me, pile number 2, when you see like a kid with parents that have just like judged them and, you know, haven't really allowed their talents to flourish. You can just tell, like, you know, they may be good at something, but they may be living in someone else's shadow, like the shadow of a sibling or the shadow of a parent. And that person feels like they can never really show who they are, or they never really feel like they can show their talents because it makes other people uncomfortable, which is shit, pile number 2. That is straight up shit, okay? So that makes me mad, pile number 2, for those of you that went through that, okay? And we have shadow and safe travel here. So feeling like everything is possible, feeling like you can move around in the world, and that the bad things that maybe happened when you were younger, or the devaluations or things like that, like, you know, like thinking that no matter where you go, maybe, like it doesn't matter where you go, things are going to kind of follow you. And I also feel, you know, like Dr. Seuss says, it's like wherever you go, there you are. Like, you know, you can change your location, you can change this, you can change that, but, you know, our demons kind of live within us. And, you know, pile number 2, like, I don't think you're a person that's necessarily afraid of that. I think you're a person that has learned to travel with your shadow, to take your shadow by the hand and say, you know what, we're going somewhere else and you're coming with me and we'll figure it out once we get there. Okay. So, I mean, pile number 2, first of all, I do think that you're a very brave person anyway. And I think you should give yourself kudos for that. Okay. But I do think there still may be some areas in your life where you're holding back because you don't have a comfort level with something, okay? And maybe when you feel lost or when you feel out of control or you feel lost, those feelings of inadequacy kind of come back again, okay? I mean, it's easy to be on top of the world when we've been kind of doing the same thing for a long time. Like, you know, I did the same career for like 20 years before I left my day job. But anyway, you know, after a while you feel like, wow, I'm really confident and I'm really good at this, and you're running a team and you've got all these people working underneath you, and you forget about like when you started and things were a little bit harder and you weren't as confident. And then if you start over and do something totally different and learn in a completely different field, you can some of those feelings can start to come back no matter how old you are, right? So when changes happen, it can really aggravate the shadow. Now, let's see what else we have here. We have paradise, happiness, expansion, joy, playfulness, oneness, and enjoying each other. Now, we have paradise and safe travel. So you guys, with this shadow here, feeling like maybe I don't deserve happiness, I don't deserve to go anywhere, I don't deserve to like travel and go places. Some of you here may really want to like relocate, or you may really want to go on a trip, or you may really want to like enjoy your life more and have more adventure, particularly with this Page of Wands, okay? But with the shadow, it's like I'm a little afraid or I'm a little bit fearful of that, okay? But I feel like, you know, we're going to get more into the reading here, but I think pile number 2, you have the ability to try different things and go different places. And with this green card here, safe travel, I think you're being given the green light from spirit, okay? Like, yeah, you can go somewhere else. You can do something else. And it may be challenging. You may feel some of those old, you know, shadows kind of come out around the corner, but I feel like it's different now, pile number 2. You're an adult. You have more certainty about who you are and you're able to confront it, okay? I feel like it's different when we're children. We're like so impressionable and we don't know about the world yet. Even the oldest of souls, you know, you still have to learn how to tie your shoes. So, you know, and it creates a whole new level of complexes. Did I tie it right? Did I miss the loop? Did I forget what to do? Did I like, you know, put the shoe on the wrong foot? Like, you know, there's so many complexes in life. And that's why I think it's sometimes like gurus are a little bit hilarious. Side note, pile number 2, because I mean, we all like were those stumbling around snotty kids, like not able to like wipe our own nose or, you know, put on our own underwear, and yet, you know, becoming these like wise, evolved masters, like, you know, leading thousands of people. Like, it's just kind of funny to me, right? When you think about when gurus were a child, but, but anyway, pile number 2, I digress. We have here, okay, so this is an Art of War card, and it says, in night fighting, then make much use of signal fires and drums, okay? If you're fighting at night, make use of signal fires and drums. And by fighting by day, in fighting by day, make use of flags and banners as a means of influencing the ears and eyes of your army. So if you're leading something by daytime, you show up with your flags and your banners. If you're doing it at night, then you use your signal fires and your drums, okay? So it depends on what kind of what kind of situation are you in, right? And can you really trust yourself to make the right choices? And it has here, communicate appropriately, okay? And this could be with the Page of Wands reverse, like communicate appropriately to your boss or to your significant other or to your own child or to your, to your inner child. Communicate appropriately as an adult, all right, with respect and dignity for yourself, all right? And it says, always use appropriate communication tools for different people and different environments. Very interesting. So when you're around people that are like very judgmental and like to demean others, don't tell them anything. Don't let them know where your shadow is. Don't let them know your insecurities, because they're users and abusers and they'll use it against you. Okay, so we have to be in this world, we have to be, peaceful and loving like the dove, but cunning like the serpent. Pile number 2, okay? So it depends on who you're talking to. Communicate in different ways in different situations. Appropriately communicate, oh, sorry, I'm reading it wrong. Appropriate communications with your spouse, kids, boss, or coworkers, I was just talking about this, can deepen your connections to others, build greater trust and respect, and improve teamwork, problem solving, and your overall social and emotional health, okay? So by communicating appropriately with your spouse, your children, your boss, your coworkers, you can actually deepen those connections, okay, for greater trust and respect. Now, the problem is with the Page of Wands reversed is you guys may not have been the most trusting of other people, and that may cause you at times when you're around that type of energy to shut down, to be shy, to be quiet, to not ask for what you want. But here it's saying, it's not about like shutting down and withdrawing. It's about knowing what to say and who to say it to based on who you trust. I think pile number 2. We have here archway. New opportunities, possibilities, and paths are opening up for you, okay? And it's coming out right underneath this shadow. So as new opportunities for you to grow and to be the center of attention, to evolve, to become more than you were before, to learn more, to do more, to be a leader. I feel like pile number 2, you have leadership abilities within you. You're gonna have to call on, your courage and using your instincts and your courage to your advantage. All right. And if you're shying away from new opportunities and possibilities because you're scared or nervous or worried, I totally get it. Pile number 2. I think it's totally healthy to have a little bit of like, if you're not nervous about something at all, then I'm like, okay, do you even really want that thing? But if you're like a little bit nervous and you're like, wow, I'm like really nervous about this new thing and I'm excited about it. Like, those are times when you're not playing small. If you're just like dead inside and not feeling nervous and not feeling anything and not feeling like you're challenging yourself or stepping it up in any way, then you're just gonna you'll get to hide your shadow forever, but you'll feel bored probably, okay? We have here wind chimes, peace and harmony. Oh, I love that, pile number 2. And that's coming out under safe travel. We have card 43 here and card 30. So we could have people that are near 30 or near 43 showing up here. But, or you're thinking about the time from when you were 30 to 43 and how much you've grown. For those of you in your early 30s, it goes by fast. I'm gonna tell you guys right now, coming from someone in their early 40s, it goes by so quickly. When you're like 32 or 33, you never think that you're ever gonna be older, but guess what? You will be, right? So might as well, take advantage of the opportunities to go different places and try different things. I think you'll find that it goes actually like much smoother than you thought it will. All right. And some of you may have wind chimes around your house, or you grew up with wind chimes, or maybe you just heard them recently. Some people find wind chimes very annoying. I don't know. I've never had them, but I have heard them on a nice day when the sun's shining and you're taking a walk and you can hear wind chimes. Like, it's a pretty like peaceful feeling, I feel like. Okay. We have here February. Wow. Oh my gosh. And look at that gust of air. Okay. And it's heading straight for those wind chimes. And it's like when the wind chimes, it's like they dance and they sing, and it's like, yes, I want that. Yes, I want to go there. And you guys may be making some plans for some travel. Some of you may be having an opportunity to travel or go somewhere in February. All right, we're in January right now, so February is right around the corner. And if you're worried about something in February, or you're worried about the changes coming up, or you really want to take some time to like go on a trip or a vacation or something, but you're a little bit worried about saying what you want or you need, I feel like, you know, take the opportunity, communicate what you want appropriately. Like sometimes if you're trying to tell your boss, hey, I want to take a vacation, or hey, I want to do this, or you're telling your significant other, I think we need to do this, or whatever it is. I mean, I feel like you just have to be savvy about how you approach those communications, pile number 2, but I feel like they could very well happen for you. We have Descendant, the Descendant in the astrology chart. Very nice. The Descendant is the cusp on the cusp of our 7th house, which represents the other and the partner. Okay, but on this card it says invitation. Okay, so somebody may be having an invitation for you to go somewhere or to do something, okay, that's good for your overall social and emotional health. And yeah, an invitation to say what you want to other people and communicate appropriately how you're feeling and what you need and what you want to do, okay? And maybe some of you would like to give an invitation to someone else. Like, hey, I'm inviting you, you know, to this trip, or I'd like, you know, do you want to go with me, or you get invited somewhere, okay? But we have an invitations. Some of you may have somebody in your life that invites you to go somewhere, but you have to get permission from other people, or you need to talk to other people before you do it and get consensus, etc., etc. And it's just saying, like, you know, go ahead and do it. New opportunities and possibilities and pathways are opening up for you. Go ahead and communicate appropriately and accept the invitation already. Pile number 2. We have here the taming power of the small. Wow. Okay. We've just been talking about where you've been playing it too small. And this card actually says the taming power of the small, right? Which is where you tame that gregarious, enthusiastic, open, fire starter energy of the Page of Wands and make it become very, very small, okay? But what's on this card is a spider at the center of a small, tiny spider at the gigantic, huge web that this spider has woven for themselves, okay? So even in the tightest and the most constricting moments, pile number 2, you have the ability to make of it what you will, okay? And some of you, I feel, are very, very turned on creative people. And the spider energy is definitely talking about that web of intricate things that we make and build and design that really give us a sense of like that we're doing something important or we're doing something to build our life. Okay, pile number 2. So very interesting. This talks about self-sufficiency. Definitely feeling my Virgos in this pile. Okay, Virgo energy showing up. Maybe some of you have Virgo or fire in your chart, but you feel like your fire's been squashed at times. Because there's endless things to do and to take care of, okay, especially for my parents out there. But I also just feel like you guys are very good at handling a lot of different things at once. You may be very powerful multitaskers as well. Like you can do a lot with a little. And we have self-sufficiency, careful preparations, okay? And careful preparations are completely fine. Resourcefulness, minor impediments, and adaptability. Okay, so if you run into things that show up that are like little things trying to stop you, you can get around them. Pile number 2. Okay, you can definitely get around them, and you can definitely come up with creative solutions to get what you want and get what you need done. All right, and on this taming of the taming power of the small, we also have self-restraint, which is very Saturnian, to be in a moment of self-restraint. And some of you here may be coming up on your Saturn return, or you just finished it. We have card 30 here. Okay, if you're around 43, you're hitting your Saturn opposition. Okay, so you know, there's some major Saturn stuff going on right now anyway, in the skies, pile number 2. But looking at self-restraint. Now, here's what I'm going to say, pile number 2. Self-restraint can be a beautiful thing. You know, putting other people ahead of ourselves so that for the greater good, not, you know, hogging all of the conversation with our individual viewpoints. Like you can always tell in conversations, especially like with a new group of people, there are just certain people that dominate the conversation and everything kind of becomes about them and what's going on with them. And it's like, it's a bit, you know, and then there's the people that don't say much and are showing a lot of self-restraint. I personally think self-restraint is very important, and you guys have the black tea light, which is the color of Saturn, okay? But what I'm gonna say, pile number 2, is sometimes we show too much self-restraint and not enough initiative for what we want and what we need, okay? And there is a term that I have really been loving lately, and that term is called self-advocacy, okay? And the Page of Wands upright would definitely reflect a person who has a powerful sense of agency and self-advocacy. And, you know, that's something that people who are used to showing a little bit more restraint and putting aside what they want for other people, or maybe because of fears, etc. These are the things that, you know, you want to work on, right? Because you can show too much self-restraint and you can show way too little self-restraint. And both have a way of killing the spirit or killing the spirit of the people around them. So we have to find that balance, all right? And I think your skills of efficiency, preparing, resourcefulness, all of these things are incredibly important, but don't let little things get in your way and completely take you out and take you down. Just be adaptable and communicate intuitively with the people that you trust and respect so that you can also experience what you want and what you need, okay? We have Chiron here and healing, okay? And I feel like you guys, my pile number 2 people, you guys could be healers, okay? And very creative and very wonderful healers. But I also feel like you guys can be very humble sometimes and taking on all the responsibility and taking on all the work and taking on all the preparations and putting a lot on your shoulders. And My teacher, my astrology teacher, always talks about Chiron as being a baby Saturn. Okay, so here we have the baby Saturn, Chiron here, and the power of self-restraint, which is very Saturnian. If I haven't mentioned it once, pile number 2, I'm mentioning it twice now. I mentioned it like 100 times to you guys. All right, and for my February birthday people, especially, you know, before my Aquarius February people, you guys are ruled by Saturn. Your ancient ruler is Saturn. Okay, so there's air energy here with the wind chimes, and you know, being able to go the direction that you want to go, and being able to go where the air moves you and where the directions are taking you. Okay, but I also feel like some of you here have been doing an awful lot on your own for a long time, handling all the responsibility. And it's about time that you get to experience some paradise. It's about time that you get to have some happiness, playfulness, and joy in your life. If you want to travel, if you want to go somewhere and you're like, I've never been there, but I've always wanted to go. You know, I mean, I feel like pile number 2, the time is upon you, okay? And don't let the old stuff or the old, and I feel like in the past, maybe you did have opportunities or new things, but something would sabotage it. And it could be other people's shadow, other people's jealousy, other people's problems and issues. It could have been your own fear. But this also just talks about, you know, don't let all those responsibilities or whatever, like sabotage where it is, what it is that you're trying to do at this point. Okay, pile number 2, because by you sabotaging what you've worked so hard for and prepared for and diligently built towards, by sacrificing that for other people, no matter how much you love them and how much you care about them, it's more energy of playing it small. Straight up, it's more energy of playing it small. Now, I understand if you have small children and you've got to make your sacrifices and things like that. But if your children are older and they're adults and things like that, pile number 2, you know, I get it, you know, like sometimes kids are older, but they still need a lot of help. But pile number 2, at some point, you gotta, like, because I feel you are very Saturnian. You build things meticulously and carefully and, you know, resourcefully and wonderfully. And you deserve to have a moment in the sun, okay? Like you just do, pile number 2. So I just don't want to see you guys like self-sabotaging. I don't really want to see other people trying to sabotage what it is that you're trying to do. That's enough of that, okay? So that's what I'm seeing, pile number 2. Now, we have the 6 of Pentacles. You're very generous and caring. We have the Star reversed, but you never seem to get to where it is that where you really want to be and what you really want. And there may even be times where you don't even get a peaceful, calm moment to actually sit with yourself and think about what it is that you want and you need and what would make you feel peaceful, balanced, and centered, because you're so busy giving to others, okay? Because you're so busy like stabilizing and helping and being there for others, all right? But I think it's time to give back to yourself at this point, pile number 2. We have the 8 of Pentacles reversed, and some people feel like if they're not giving and if they're not working, they don't like know how to relax, or they don't know how to kind of like be with themselves, okay? And sometimes we feel like things are gonna fall apart like without us, okay? And I also feel like when it comes to your guys' work, I feel like other people see it with the 6 of Pentacles, okay? But I feel like you may not see it, okay? Because I feel like sometimes pile number 2, whatever it is that you do, you put yourself wholeheartedly and epically into it, and you do a great job. 6 of Pentacles, okay? The Lord of material success, okay? But sometimes I feel like as much success as you may gain, or as much as other people may see you as like a leader or a role model or somebody that can do a great job, I feel like sometimes you just don't connect with your own self that way, okay? And you may feel sometimes like, I don't have the vision, or I don't really know what I want when it comes to like managing my energy, or I don't really know what I want when it comes to the day-to-day. And so I just kind of like do things and don't think about it, all right? So I think this is something here too. I also feel like you guys could be outgrowing where you're at and where you're working, or what it is that you're doing and working on right now. And you may feel like, well, I've been frustrated and I feel like I'm fresh out of ideas, and I know that whatever this place needs me, and I am needed, but I'm not really feeling inspired, okay? The star is about inspiration and going deep into the meditation of self to find that inspiration. And maybe some of you have not been feeling very inspired, 8 of Pentacles reversed, with your work and your day-to-day activities. Now, it's funny I mentioned Aquarius and Virgo in this reading, because the star represents Aquarius in the tarot, and the 8 of Pentacles is represented by the sun in Virgo, okay? But they're both reversed here. So it tells me with the moon in Taurus here that with the 6 of Pentacles that you're dependable, people rely on you, and that you're, a safe figure for people to go to and to feel like protected, or to feel like things are right. But maybe you're not always feeling like what you're doing is right, or you're feeling like your line of work or the job you've had recently or the way you're spending your time isn't exactly like what you want. I also feel some of you here too with the star reversed and the 8 of Pentacles, spiritually, you may beat up on yourself a little bit too and say, I'm not doing enough work. I'm not doing the meditations like I want to. I'm not sticking to my routine spiritually, da-da-da-da-da. I feel like, pile number 2, take it a bit easy, my loves, okay? And, yeah, the star reverse is saying, I can feel like maybe you're feeling uninspired or dead inside, but you have to keep providing the services that you normally do, okay? But I just feel that there's something better for you out there, pile number 2, that would draw on your skills and talents in a more productive and fulfilling manner for you, okay? So yeah, I feel some of you need a vacation, or you need to go somewhere, you need to travel, and deep within you may kind of realize that you're playing it small with your work, and there may be something that's way more fulfilling, okay? And you may just need some time away from work or from what you've been doing to really think about what that is for you, okay? And if you do decide there's something else or a different role or something you'd rather be doing, then, communicate that appropriately. I feel like you guys are going to have the opportunity here to speak to the descendant really has to do with our partner too, okay? So, I feel like maybe some of you not feeling super valued for what you do every day either, okay? And it's time for pile number 2 to really get the accolades that you deserve at this time, okay? Pile number 2. So that is what I am getting for you, my loves, in pile number 2. I hope that reading resonated for you, and I hope it brought you some comfort, and you've got some new exciting plans for the year, pile number 2. I'd love to hear your comments and feedback. Thank you so much, pile number 2, and take care. Let's move into pile number 3. Okay, let's do it. All right. Pile number 3, welcome to your reading. Thank you so much for coming to your reading today, and it is called Where Have You Been Playing It Too Small? And I just, as soon as I started your reading, I had that song, I think it's by Bruno Mars, called Uptown Funk, because it's Saturday night, right? Uptown Funk, all right? Anyway, it's a very like upbeat, happy song, like kind of like a going out song. And all of a sudden my hair is falling out of the ponytail. So I kind of feel like it's like, okay, pile number 3, like let your hair down and get excited about your new adventures and get out there. Okay, let yourself shine, pile number 3. But let's go ahead and see, where has pile number 3 been playing it too small, please, Spirit? Where has pile number 3, where has my beautiful pile number 3s been playing it too small? Let's go ahead and see. There it is. 1, 2, 3. And we have the Emperor on the bottom of the deck. Wow. Well, let me tell you one thing about the Emperor. The Emperor doesn't play anything small, okay? The Emperor is the anti-playing small card in the tarot, I would say, for sure. The Emperor has a clearly defined vision of who they are and what they want and what they rule over and why, okay? So that's very interesting, pile number 3. And also right away, like, you know, the red tea light with the Emperor in the tarot represents Aries, okay? And of course, Aries is ruled by Mars. Mars is the red planet. And it's a very like energizing planet, and it's a very much take charge type of a planet, okay? So let's go ahead and see. Ooh, there's the Queen of Wands right there too. Lots of firepower coming through. Pile number 3. Let's look at your oracle cards here first and foremost, and then we'll get into the tarot. We have Earth energy, grounded, stable, sturdy, practical. We have release. Wow. Wow. Ooh, boy. Pile number 3. I'm already getting some thoughts about this. And some of you may be having a person, maybe an earth sign, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, who you need to release and cut out of your life, and stand solidly and firmly on your own 2 feet and be strong and independent like you know that you are, okay? But I also feel like some of you may, with this earth, you may have gotten like a little bit comfortable with the way that your life is, but in order to get to the next level, you have to take some type of risk, okay? And the Emperor definitely gives us the confidence to face down our adversaries and take a risk and come out on top, all right? So let's go ahead and see what else we have here. We have girl talk, time with friends, moving on, happily single. You know, it's so funny. I was gonna mention that for some of you here, you know that you need to stop playing it safe or picking the same type of partner or picking the same type of guy or girl or picking the same type of thing, and show more confidence and determination in the people that you let into your life, okay? And if you've just cut out some very heavy energy with this earth release here, and you're spending time, I mean, you guys could be going out. It is Saturday right now, and it's funny like that I just got that song by Bruno Mars. Of course, Mars in the last name, Mars, Bruno Mars. But time with friends, moving on, and that song Uptown Funk, like it's Saturday night, and I feel all right, and you know, all of that. So pile number 3, happily single, moving on, living in the moment, and having fun. Okay, so those of you that are newly single, or those of you that are worried because you're like, you know, am I being too picky? Am I blah, blah, blah? No, I don't think so, pile number 3. You may actually have been selling yourself short when it comes to relationships. Like picking the same type of person over and over, or staying with somebody that you really don't really like care about anymore, or you stayed with somebody that didn't really care about you that much anymore. Okay, but I feel like, you know, she's wearing a t-shirt that says yes on it, and it's like haha, and she's laughing, and she's like, looks like she's saying hi Kim or something like that, or hi K, or somebody with the letter K, which is kind of funny. But anyway, and you guys just look really relaxed to me, like you're enjoying yourself and you're having a good time and you're not stressing. Okay, pile number 3, no mess, no stress for my pile number 3s. Let's see what else we've got here. From The Art of War, okay, this is from the book The Art of War. The art of war is of vital importance to the state. It is a matter of life and death. Woo, release, right? With the knife. It is a matter of life and death. A road with either to safety or to ruin. Okay? So it's saying the art of war is very vital to whoever is involved in it. Okay? It is a matter of death. And, you know, war can lead to either safety and conquering or to ruin. So it's, yeah, excellent. Pile number 3, better decisions lead to a better life. Wow, that just about knocked me out of my chair. It seems so obvious, right? And I was actually going to mention something about that, just about how in the past you may have said like, yes, to whoever came into your life, like whatever guy or whatever girl or whoever came into your life, and maybe you were just like open to a lot of different things, or you were like, yeah, sure, that's cool, or you didn't really take it too seriously. Or on the other hand, those of you who just stayed with someone really, really for a long time, even though you weren't that happy and you knew you needed to let it go, but you were working on finding a sense of sovereignty, the Emperor, to really do that, okay? And the Emperor also sticks to the decisions that the Emperor makes, okay? So you're the Emperor, pile number 3, not any guy, not any other girl. You're like, oh, I want my Emperor. And it's like, well, yeah, but you yourself are an Emperor, okay? And that's straight talk right now, pile number 3, okay? And I was just thinking of those shows, Scared Straight, where they show people like juvenile offenders, like, you know, like they take them around and they show them prisons, and then people tell them, you know, and the prisoners try to scare them straight and say, do you want your life to be like this? This is how you want your life to be? Is this the kind of life you want to live? Not ever seeing your family, not ever getting this, not ever getting to eat any good food, blah, blah, blah. And I was just thinking about that. I don't know why, but it seems like very much like an earth release type of a thing, where these prisoners are like, do you want to be locked up and held down like I am? Do you want to be released? Like, do you want to live a good life or not, right? Like, change your ways, basically. Very interesting, pile number 3. So, better decisions lead to a better life, okay? Every time we set out to solve a problem, we are declaring war on that problem. Our lives are the combined outcome of all the decisions that we've made, both important and unimportant, good and bad, conscious and unconscious, okay? That's really deep, and that may put you in a point of like, I don't want to make any decisions, I'm scared, right? But the Emperor is like, no, I know what decisions to make. I know what's best for me. This is your energy, pile number 3. I know what decisions are best for me. I know what's good for me. I know what I'm sticking to, and I'm proud of myself, and I'm doing this, okay? So every decision affects your life. Rather than focus on the outcomes of those decisions, we should review how those outcomes came to become, outcomes came to become in the first place, and become better decision makers, okay? We should review instead of focusing, and this is saying, instead of focusing on constantly focusing on outcomes, maybe thinking about how to become, like, the outcome of whether someone's going to be with you or someone likes you or this or that, instead focusing on becoming a more strong, stern, proud decision maker in your own life. All right. And the Emperor is definitely that maturing energy where it's like we're taking the bull by the horns. Okay. Better decisions lead to a better life. I love that, pile number 3. Very, very nice. And you guys are like, if only my teenage self knew that, Natalie. And I'm right there with you, pile number 3. It's 333 in your reading right now, pile number 3, which is very special. We have kite, vacation. Okay, it's like I need a vacation from my life. It's gotten too routine. It's gotten too boring. All right, with Earth and vacation, it's like things are too boring. Things are too like sedentary. They're too, I need to lift up my energy. Okay, we have key here. Successful outcome to your problems. Okay, so when you make a definitive decision to release something, you're given the key to the next step in your life that you need to take. And I know that's the hardest part of release, pile number 3, because sometimes, just like with the Death card in the tarot, we are asked to release something that we've known very well in the past and that has brought us a sense of security, Earth, okay? But we have to make a decision to move forward without it, or we have to make a decision to go on even if we don't know what's ahead, even if we feel like we've taken a gamble, okay? And this is where I really like to talk to people about breakups and moving on, because a lot of people get really stuck here in the acceptance phase, and in also, I would say, in the hope phase of believing that there could actually be something better than that, or something better than that person, or a better life with an alternate path with different decisions that actually would be a higher path. Okay, so in life, you have to have a lot of belief in yourself and a belief that you can find a better path for yourself, okay? And I know that can be really hard when you're down and when you're low and things feel very heavy and you're having to let go, okay? This kite, to me, though, talks about, like, you know, when we fly a kite, we let it just go. We let it, like, be free. We let it go in the breeze and just kind of, like, you know, how, I don't know if you guys have ever had dreams when you're flying, but just that feeling of, like, being on an amusement park ride and, like, flying, or that sense of letting go, or that sense of, like, you know, riding your bike and having the wind and just feeling it around you. Like, it's a very refreshing feeling. And I think that's what Spirit is trying to tell you, that, you know, when you're deep in something, you can't really see how it could be better, but when you let it go and let yourself be free, you really start to gain some momentum, okay? We have pig, beware of greed, okay? And here we have girl talk and pig, okay? So there could be somebody that you're talking about, like some jerk, asshole, loser, whoever in your life that, you know, was only out for themselves and was only, like, living in the moment with you. I mean, living in the moment is great, but also there are people that make us feel like, you know, like we could keel over tomorrow and they just find another girl or guy and move on, and it wouldn't make any difference to them, okay? Because all they really want is somebody to, like, be around them. They really don't care who it is, right? We don't really want to be around people like that, pile number 3, okay? Also, some people can really need, like validation from other people constantly in order to feel good about themselves, okay? Trying to solicit compliments from other people, like these types of characters, okay? And we may even have some of those qualities within ourselves as well. And shadow qualities, I mean, all of us have shadow qualities, right? But I think we, there's the people that want to have their cake and eat it too. And, then there's the people who, because they want to feel safe and secure, okay, while at the same time being able to do whatever they want, which, is a very Aries type of a, thing to kind of do in life. And I mean, it can be good and bad, having your cake and eating it too can really be a time in your life when you're empowered to do things for you and still keep things the way you want them. Now, whether the other people in your life like that or not. Now, if you've been playing small for a really, really long time, it may be that you need to have, a sense of greediness or selfishness. Like, it's not always bad, okay? But there are the people that really abuse that too, okay? And so I feel like in all of these readings today, I've been talking about balance, because I've been talking about too far this way and too far that way, right? There's the times when we're accepting of other people's piggish behavior, selfish, rude, greedy, mean behavior, okay? And some of you may have had exes and relationships like that, okay, where people have been very piggish towards you. And, sometimes we want to have a moment where we can be that person, or we can have it be all about us in our life, which is cool. I mean, it's fine to have those moments, but I also think honesty is really important too. Okay. It's like with this release card here, it's like, being honest with someone and saying, I don't really see a future for that. Also, some of you may be wanting to get really honest with a friend, because we have this girl talk here. I'm also getting the word pushover. So some of you may feel like you've been a pushover in conversations, like letting people walk on you, or letting people talk to you a certain way, or you know what I mean? Even in friendships, pile number 3. And so I think there is this sense of you being able to speak your mind also to your friends, also to the people that you're romantically involved with, okay? And I think you are going to have a successful outcome to your problems when you release something. And other people around you may be a little bit jealous of something that you're doing or things that you have in your life, pile number 3. But at the end of the day, better decisions lead to a better life, okay? And I mean, we all have those moments in our life. Sometimes we have to deal with the cards that were dealt, and other times we have the power to make decisions to make our life better, but we're not doing it because we want the security, the comfort, and the benefits that go along with that. But we know in our heart of hearts, we're gonna have to let it go, okay? And that takes a lot of courage and the essential ingredients necessary to take command of your life, okay? Which is the Emperor, for sure. We have here the 10th house and authority, okay? I don't read reversals in oracle decks usually, but this card came out reversed. So, this could also be the 10th house is like our honor, our prestige, the way we're seen, like our authority in the world, our ability to shine. The 10th house is the highest point in our chart, okay? It's like very dignified, authoritative type of house. And, it's like, I feel like sometimes maybe you've second guessed yourself, pile number 3, maybe even about your work and what it is that your true destiny or your true calling is. And maybe some of you have even played it small when it comes to really saying what you think or really going after what you want because you're afraid it's gonna upset other people or different things like this, pile number 3, okay? But the 10th house is reverse is says, I'm playing small about my career, okay? Or I'm playing small about my own sovereignty and my own authority in my own life, and I'm not allowing myself to shine because of that, okay? And I feel like, you know, for some of you here with the Emperor coming up, you may be self-employed. You may have your own business. You may be a manager. You may be a leader in some regard. You may be the final authority in some manner, or you have the ability to be that, but you're hesitant to do that. And it may be, like I said, some of you at times may be feeling like a little bit of a pushover in conversations. And, you know, I think with the Emperor here, you can change that, okay? And you can also cut away with this release card. You can cut away old versions of yourself that no longer really suit you and decide to make some different choices in your life. I feel pile number 3, okay? It's not too late. I mean, I don't care, like, you know, I mean, I'm not the youngest person. I'm 42. Here we have card 42 release here. But anyway, you know, like, and sometimes you feel like, well, how many things do I have to release? Because I feel like I'm constantly being bombarded to release things and to let things go. And sometimes pile number 3, like the greater destiny that you have in life, the more you have to let go of. I hate to break it to you, pile number 3, but that's just the way the cookie crumbles sometimes, you know? Like sometimes you have to really dig deep, right? The earth and release. You really have to dig deep to find that within yourself, okay? And it kind of is reminding me, I don't know why I'm thinking of Maya Angelou, the poet, and her poem, I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings. I'm just thinking about that right now. And I feel like you guys have a potential for like total greatness in your life, pile number 3. But just like anyone else, you gotta work yourself. You're gonna have to cut and release. You're gonna have to let go of a sense of safety and security. And as well to kind of, you're gonna have to kind of push yourself to get there, I feel, okay? And I mean, and when we get things very easily, sometimes we have no appreciation for it and we have no perspective of it. Do you know what I'm saying, pile number 3? So, I mean, I feel like you guys are turning this around. And some of you may be deciding, I don't want to work at this job anymore. I don't want to talk to these people anymore. I don't want to, like, you know, go out with these type of people anymore. I'm done with that type. And I love that for you, pile number 3. I love that assertive energy for you. We have discipline. Okay. And again, this one was coming reversed, but... But I don't know, maybe your cards just got flipped, but we have discipline here. Exert authority, okay? Again, we have a card that says authority on it, and we have the Emperor. So more and more and more about authority. And you see this warrior standing with a sword ready to go, okay? And it reminds me of the King of Swords or the Queen of Swords, all right? Exert authority. Define. It's time to take the bull by the horns. Didn't I just say that earlier in your reading? Isn't that funny? It's time to take the bull by the horns. Create a strategy, mobilize your forces, okay? When it comes to relationships, when it comes to careers, some of you may be playing it very small with your career. And, you know, I get it. There's times in life when we need to back down from something because there's other things that have come up. But it isn't going to be that way forever, pile number 3, okay? And I think you're hitting a phase where now it's time for you to be the one to create the strategy, to influence other people, to mobilize the forces, and to discipline yourself, okay? And with Earth and release, it may feel like, you know, it's not worth it because as soon as I get settled in something, I have to let it go. okay? But this is where you really have to discipline your mind, I feel like, pile number 3. And, you know, discipline is a part of, you know, rising to the occasion in order to grow our overall self. You know what I'm saying, pile number 3? Sometimes people, pile number 2 is actually kind of opposite. Sometimes we're too disciplined and we exert too much, you know, self-restraint. And then other times we need a little bit of discipline in order to grow. Okay, we need to take positive, affirmative authority over our life and not just kind of go with the flow of what's happening. And I feel a lot of you have been working on that. You're like, oh, hell yeah, I'm done with the pigs. I'm done with the greedy people. I'm done with people bossing me around. I'm done with people telling me what I need to do. I am ready. Okay, pile number 3, I would also say, when you cut yourself free and release from all of that, you become free. But what also happens when you become free is that you really have to learn to discipline yourself. Like, you know, sometimes people are so happy to quit their job and be self-employed, but a whole other set of problems follows, you know, like a whole other thing follows where you have to discipline yourself and nobody is there doing it for you. So you have to be the one to do it. And it really causes people to dig deep, okay? So pile number 3, I love that. Better decisions lead to a better life when it comes to relationships and career, for sure, okay? And when you let go of something that's been really heavy over you, you get a key to the next thing you're meant to be doing, okay? Very cool. We have the air element. Wow. Okay. So the air element is extremely active. All right. It's a masculine element. The earth element is a feminine element. It's receptive. Okay. The air element is very, is yang, and it is more initiating than water or earth, for instance, okay? Air is a masculine element. Now, as far as getting your point across and getting what you need to say out, and also disciplining your mind with the promises that you make to yourself, okay? So if you tell yourself, I'm not doing this anymore, I am done with this, right? And yeah, you may have some moments where you fall back. You may have some moments where you need to stop and reevaluate and think. But I also just feel like you guys becoming like much more powerful communicators, okay? And you may think, oh, I'm not the best communicator, actually. You know, I kind of stumble, or I don't always have the right words or whatever. But I feel like this is turning around for you, pile number 3. So becoming very confident in your speech and in the way that you think, and also disciplining the mind to really like purify what it is that you know and believe about yourself and your life, okay? And some of you may have communication in your job, or in order to move up in your job, you need to learn to be able to have difficult conversations with people, or you need to become a public speaker, or you need to be able to present things in public, or you need to be able to teach things, okay? And you may have been holding back from that because of fears about communication or about assertively communicating and things like that. I feel like you're playing it small in that area, pile number 3, because I feel you actually are a very determined, good communicator. I just feel you're also very aware of other people and their discomfort, and sometimes you flex to that, okay? So, I mean, I also think you're a compassionate person too. But I also think you guys need to think, like, look at your life and go, you know what? I am a smart and disciplined person. I know what I want to do, and I know how I want to do it, and I have good ideas, okay, too, and it's okay for me to create my own strategy, and it's okay for me to take the bull by the horns and lead my own life the way I want to, okay? So pile number 3, like your pile is very yang, which is interesting to me, okay? So talking about, increasing the yang energy in your life and increasing your decisions. Also with air, clarity, okay? Better decisions lead to a better life. I see things clearly. I know what I need to do. I'm taking authority of my life, okay? This is where you are expanding and not going to play it small anymore. I feel like you guys have already made an agreement with the universe and you've already said, I am not playing it small anymore. I feel like you guys have already been doing this or been working on this. Pile number 3, okay? We have the 10 of Swords. Oh me, oh my, pile number 3. Okay, we have talk about the air element being used in a very heavy, inappropriate way with the 10 of Swords. Oh, my poor babies in pile number 3, okay? Oh yeah, we have the Tower. Yeah, I see what you mean. It's like whenever I try to start something new, or whenever like the Earth and Mars here with the Tower, destruction, whenever I start something new, I always have to let it go, and I'm sick of it, okay? With the 10 of Swords, it's like I'm sick of it, and I'm sick of putting my energy into situations that are total shit shows. I'm sick of, trying to create a firm foundation with something that doesn't exist, or something that doesn't support my growth, and only demeans me and brings me down, okay? And I feel like a lot of you are just saying, I'm sick of tired, whether it's work, family, relationships. I'm definitely feeling career and relationships here, pile number 3. I'm sick of putting my life energy into things that just bring me down and make my life harder, okay? So pile number 3, and the Tower in the card is, guess what? Is associated with what planet? I'll give you one guess. Everybody say it with me in unison. Mars. It's Mars, okay? So everything we've been talking about, basically, and we have the Earth with Mars. Again, we have the Earth with fire. And also, when we're putting energy into things very hastily and not making very good decisions about what we're investing in, and we're just haphazardly giving our energy to hot mess situations, then, or we keep feeding a situation that we know is going down in flames, or we know that is very destructive, okay? Then we find ourselves completely exhausted, out of ideas, and feeling like the world is caving in on us and closing in on us. Pile number 3, okay? So this is all about developing a sense of agency and commitment and discipline and follow through. And I also feel some of you here have a side of you where you will just go put whatever into whatever, okay? And it's not good for you, though, is the problem, okay? And I feel some of you can see it from the very beginning. You're like, yeah, I know. Because you're no dummy, pile number 3. I feel like some of you know. You're like, yeah, this situation diminishes me. This situation is upsetting. This situation is destructive. This situation is, isn't just a minor bump in the road with the Tower. It's like a massive explosion that kind of ruins what I'm trying to build in my life, okay? And, I feel like some of you have had those disappointments in your life, okay? And some of you here could have had parents and family members that were very discouraging, people that would constantly tear down whatever it is that you were trying to do, you know, these types of people, pile number 3, okay? So gaining a sense of confidence, but also not blind confidence where we're just throwing what we have into the biggest hot mess that we can find. Like, oh, if I give my love, attention, and affection and energy to this situation, I'll be able to stabilize it. But then you realize after the fact, you know, that situation was a burning building before I even came upon the scene. That person was in a free fall, and that person was already going down the tubes, and there wasn't really anything that I could do in that situation except offer all my energy, time, or money. And, you know, where did it get me? It got me into this fucking barrel of a hole with the 10 of Swords, and I'm sick of it, okay? And the one good thing I would say about the 10 of Swords, it is very good at showing us where, like, something has become so bad that it just doesn't make sense anymore. It's like completely done, okay? The 10 of Swords can also be a little bit martyrish at times too, okay? It's like, you know, I did all of this and all these things and da-da-da, and yet still, you know, here I am betrayed, stabbed in the back again, okay? And, you know, in life, there are situations that truly betray us and stab us in the back and we don't see it coming. But when you have the Ace of Pentacles with the Tower, you can actually see something coming. You actually know. Deep down, like, you know, yeah. But I know it's hard because you want it, you put your effort or your energy into something, you want to see it work out, okay? But again, I come back to this: better decisions lead to a better life, okay? And making better decisions for yourself will also help you feel more confident about picking the career path that you want for yourself, okay? For those of you that are still trying to work out your 10th house, and I mean, I'm 40 years old, I'm still trying to work out my 10th house, okay? We're all working out our 10th house. But for those of you that are really focused, like, I don't know where life is leading me. I don't know what I want to do with my life, right? It's a matter of kind of like slowing down, cutting out the things that are distractions, slowing down and getting some mental clarity and some space and time to think about it, and then having the passion to exert your own authority and take the bull by the horns, okay? Because you actually, the power is with you, pile number 3. Your time, your effort, your energy is the one thing in this world that we do have control over. We may have to go to work for 8 hours a day or whatever it is, and then a boss has control of us or whatever. But most of our time, in general, if you have the time to watch this tarot reading and watch this, most of our life is, you know, when we get to be adults, is going to be determined by us, okay? Regardless of whatever parents we had or whatever. And I know trauma's a thing. I know all of this, but I just feel like right now that maybe isn't the main thing to be pointed out. The main thing to be pointed out is, you know, standing in your authority and power and creating a strategy that is winning for you. It doesn't have to be winning for other people. It doesn't have to make sense to other people, but it does need to be a winning strategy for you to get on with life, right? Pile number 3. So that is what I am giving for you today, pile number 3. I am your motivational speaker for the day. I'm your Tony Robbins for the day, pile number 3. You can thank me, you know, with, I don't know what you can thank me with. You can thank me with citrus fruit or something. Bring me gifts of fruits. But anyway, pile number 3. Thank you so much for coming to your reading. I hope that reading resonated for you and provided you with clarity. I would love to hear your thoughts, your comments, and your feedback. For those of you that enjoy my readings and would like to work with me on a deeper level, you can book a natal chart reading with me. And there is a link to my astrology website below called Lilith Rising Astrology. Thank you so much, everybody. I hope you have a wonderful day.
and take care.